Change is hard, but honestly, so is staying the same. I can't believe there's only 1 week left in February, and then we'll be 2 months into 2023. Do you feel like time is flying? I definitely do, but in a way, I also feel like not. That might be because I kind of took January as a trial month and just to kind of get my bearings because curveballs seem to just be coming all over the place in every direction. And February, I agreed with some of my friends in my accountability group and coaching group was going to really be the fresh start for 2023. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, maybe you've been rocking it since January 1st, or maybe you're waiting until March. I'm not sure about you, but at least for February, I have had more coaching clients than any other month in the last probably 6 months, which I love. And that tells me that you guys are feeling it too, that we just need to pause and reflect. What are some habits that we're still struggling with? What do we need to talk through and need to disrupt our normal routine in order to get on track and do the things that A, we said we're going to do, and B, we know we need to do? Accountability really makes a big difference. So if you at all have been wanting to talk through or find that you're still struggling with making changes that you know are necessary, or you're just not even sure how, go ahead and grab one of my 60-minute one-on-one sessions. We can talk through what you are struggling with, experiencing. Maybe you're not even really sure, and so we can figure it out together and look at your schedule and make a plan. I am so excited for all that's to come. Let's go ahead and dive in. Are you too busy to prep healthy meals? Do you feel self-conscious about your body and your clothes not fitting right, but you don't have time to work out? Does your life feel unorganized and messy? Do you wish you had routines and habits that made health simple, even with your busy schedule? I know, I've been there. Hi, I'm Shannon Marquita, and no one ever really taught me how to eat healthy. I didn't know anything about nutrition, so I found myself eating whatever was easy, which definitely impacted my energy, weight, and focus. That's why I created this podcast, to show you that through healthy habits and time management, you can know you're doing health right. So stop scrolling social, clicking the ads, and buying all the things. Let's grab our Americano and pop in our AirPods. It's time to solve the real problem together. Welcome home. A fresh start awaits. Change can seem like a really scary word. Some of us lean into it a little more than others. Some of us try to run the other direction as fast as humanly possible. But the reality is change happens all the time and we can't escape it. So instead of trying to dodge it, let's go ahead and intentionally embrace it, because change is good in most cases. And what we are focused on here and all we are going to talk about is positive, healthy change. So whether it is a habit or a routine, it can be anything from nutrition, fitness, it can be relationally. Change is something that we really want to focus on so that we can continue to become the person that we know we are fully capable to be. And so what I want to talk about is what that can look like tangibly in your life. So number one is to make a plan. What is something that you want to change? Do you want to be more active? Do you want to eat less sugar? Do you want to consume less caffeine? Do you want to have more community? What are the habits or even single habit that you want to change in your life positively? How you talk with yourself, how you treat yourself, how you view yourself, how you treat others, maybe your temper, maybe your form of communication. Whatever it is, it's possible to make healthy changes, but we have to be intentional. So first, we need to name the change that we want to do. So go ahead and you can pause this, take some time and write down, I would say no more than 3 changes that you really want to focus on, because we're going to have to break those down into actual tangible steps. But first we have to name it. So it can be as simple as move my body for 30 minutes a day. It can be eat less sugar. It can be drink less alcohol. It can be intentional friend time. Whatever it is, Write down one, no more than 3 intentional habits that you want to focus on changing in a positive way. Next, we are going to break these down into some more tangible steps as opposed to just a vague goal, because it's great to name the habit, but then we actually have to figure out, okay, how the heck are we going to do it? Because we want this change to be successful and to stick. So we need to find out, where does this fit in our day-to-day schedule? Because right now we have, even if we don't acknowledge it, a routine and a flow. So we need to disrupt that current flow and routine in our schedule in order to make this change possible. And so the question is, if you want to consume less caffeine or eat less sugar, when do you tend to do those? Is it first thing in the morning? Is it during the day, maybe when we start to get in a slump? How can we make a shift from those current habits? So for example, in the morning, I have an Americano. I love it. I have one Americano with some unsweetened almond milk and some cinnamon powder, but I just have one. Now, if I was having an Americano with, maybe 3 to 5 shots of espresso every morning, yeah, that could be an easy way to reduce my caffeine by simply, instead of 3 to 5 shots, maybe I just have 1 or 2. You simply can reduce what you're currently doing instead of feeling like you need to stop cold turkey. So if you're having 5 shots, maybe go down to 4 or 3. If you're having 3, maybe go down to 2. You decide what your healthy, happy medium is, and then just make that change. You probably honestly won't even notice if it's a change like that, except that it takes less time to make and your supply is lasting longer. But that's an easy example. If you drink regular coffee, how many cups of coffee are you having in the morning and why? Could you make less coffee? And that's one way to regulate. So when the pot of coffee is gone, you just know, okay, I've had my limit. Or if you're using K-cups, maybe you only allow yourself 2 K-cups and you set them out. And once those are done, then you are done for the morning. Or maybe you start to try to spread them out throughout the day. Maybe you have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, and you start to notice, I'm not really wanting that cup in the afternoon. And you start to lessen your caffeine intake by simply shifting it around instead of having all of it in the morning. Now, keep in mind, with a change like this, you might start to have a little bit of a headache, and that's an adjustment period. So just be prepared for it. But remembering that this is your goal makes it worth it because you're doing this for you. So if you do start to get a headache, just remind yourself, this is my goal and this is part of the process, but this is short-term and short-lived. If your goal is to consume less sugar, then I would start to pay attention to what kind of sugar are you having? Is it candy? Is it pastry? Is it dessert? What is it? Can you make a healthier version? And I'm going to tell you the answer is yes. Can you figure out what is maybe triggering that you want the sweets? Do you tend to have sweets when you have your coffee? Because now cutting back on your caffeine might also help your sugar intake. Or are you starting to hit a lull during the day of energy? And so you're reaching for sugar thinking it'll give you that extra boost, when in reality, that's not true. So let me encourage you to stop doing that for that reason right away. But it actually makes you more tired, and you have a quick, maybe little sugar high, and then you dip big time. So go back and listen to my previous episodes about energy options that are natural and lasting and don't give you the dips in energy that spike and then cause you to crash badly, quickly. Maybe you just want to move your body. I mean, that is such a healthy goal that I support for so many reasons, because it helps with your stress level, it helps with your confidence, it helps with your mood. It's just all around a positive habit. And I think you should do it for at least 30 minutes a day. So figuring out what time works best for you. You can do it more than once. I'm all for it. I work out in the morning. I walk Buster, my dog, at night. And that's at least twice a day that I'm intentionally moving my body for at least 30 minutes, if not longer. But you need to do that too. So look at your schedule and figure out, when can I have time to lower my stress, which we all need, and get some fresh air, and increase my confidence, boost my self-esteem. I mean, do you hear anything listed that you don't want to do as an outcome from being able to move your body? Because I know that anyone that I have ever talked to, these are all positive benefits that we need personally and all around. So once we identify what that habit change is that we want to focus on, and looking at our schedule for where that can fit in as far as removing, replacing, adding, whatever the habit is that we want to focus on, now we need to be very intentional about setting ourselves up for success. So what that means is if it's caffeine, only putting out or making enough for your goal. If you're trying to cut back on coffee, having a gigantic pot of coffee on all the time is not going to serve you. So maybe you need to shift to single serves, or maybe you just need to make less. Or if you're trying to consume less sugar, honestly, you need to do a pantry clean out ASAP. Just get rid of it. Donate it, pitch it, whatever it is. That stuff usually isn't expensive in general, so I'm not going to feel bad about throwing it away because it's better for your health all around. But do a pantry clean out for yourself. Don't have it at work. And if it is at the office, maybe it's in the kitchen or a common area, honestly, just try not to go in there for a while. Like, you need to set yourself up for success. And it might sound silly, but you might need to start with complete avoidance before you strengthen that muscle of being able to say no, because right now you're breaking a habit that is pretty formed. And it might take a little bit of time for you to develop a comfort level and strength to be able to completely pass it by. If you're trying to move your body, then we need to lay out workout clothes. We need to know when are we going to do this and block off the time like you would an important meeting or a doctor's appointment, because it's not something that is just going to happen on its own. And that's why we're still trying to work on the habit, because if it would happen on its own, that would be great. And we wouldn't be right now trying to figure out when are we going to make this work in our schedule. So we need to look at our schedule. We need to completely block it off very intentionally. And we just need to be ready, whether it's with water, whether it's with a plan. What workout are we going to do? Where are we going to walk? How long? Do I need to have my sneakers? Do I need to make a playlist so that I have something to listen to, or an audiobook? Like, whatever your jam and flow is, figure it out ahead of time. Don't wait until it is time and take all of the time or most of the time getting ready and then realizing, oh, I'm out of time. I guess I can't do it today. That's what we don't want. So we really need to be intentional with a plan and setting ourselves up for success by being proactively ready ahead of time. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, I would love to help you. I know these were very simple examples, but also very common ones. And if you have any questions, feel free to hop into our Facebook group and you can ask them there. If you have anything that you want to work on specifically, go ahead and grab one of my one-on-one coaching sessions and we can spend the 60 minutes talking through and making a plan that is geared exactly towards what you need in your life right now in this season and for your schedule. And I will talk with you soon. If this podcast helped, challenged, or inspired you in some way, I would love it if you'd do me a huge favor and leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps me to hear from you and know how this is best serving you. And go ahead and screenshot this and share it in your stories. Tag me at Shannon Marquita. That's ShannonMarqueta. And send it over to a friend in a text who is ready for healthy changes in her life too. Let her know that this episode might serve her as well. I am just so grateful for you and would love to hear from you. Come hang out and let's connect over in my Facebook group, bit.ly.com/afreshstart, or send me a message. I look forward to seeing you back here in a few days.